Manifestation is just the materialization of your desires. You are always manifesting. You are always manifesting. You are always creating your world, your reality, and your life. How can you utilize the teachings of law of assumption without necessarily diving deep into law of assumption? One thing, like I talked about in the last video, is self-concept work. So self-concept work really allows you to shift the way you see yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way you see yourself in relation to others, and aspects and concepts of life. So a step you can take to start off is by paying attention to the way you talk to yourself now, to how you see yourself in relation to your relationships, to platonic relationships, to romantic relationships, how you see yourself in relation to money, how you see yourself in relation to health, how you see yourself in relation to the world around you and in society, just how you view. It is about you. So it's your time to get very clear and pay attention with how you see yourself, not how you desire to see yourself yet. Okay, that's the next step. The first step is to be honest and to pay attention to how you see yourself right now. The next step is to define how you'd like to see yourself moving forward. How do you like to be? Getting a vision of yourself, creating that space, that vision of how you like to be, how do you dress, how do you think, how you feel, how do you look, how do you embrace life, how do you handle situations, how you handle circumstances. As human beings, sometimes, especially as people in this society, we like to understand things. So one way to do that is by writing it down. Another step, regulating your nervous system, allows you to transform your life because you're no longer living in survival mode. You're no longer feeling like you're stuck or that everybody and everything is against you. It's transforming from life is happening to you to life is happening for you and through you. This is why I speak so heavy about regulating your nervous system on my channel, because it really transformed me. It really took me from somebody who was so emotional, whether that be anger, sadness, or just constantly dwelling and feeling like the victim in my life, to a person who I knew how to handle myself in tough situations, whether that be at work, whether that be in relationships, whether that be with money, whether that be with myself, and just daily interactions with other people and my friendships, whatever it was. Regulating my nervous system showed me how to be a person where I can choose how I desire to feel. That I don't have to run with my thoughts, or I don't have to run with my emotions and allow them to control me and run my life, which I used to. So it was so big for me because it wasn't just me listening to people talk about something. It was me utilizing the experience in my own life and seeing that it worked for me. I started to pay attention to how I was talking about myself to others in conversations. And that's another thing too. Pay attention to the way you talk about yourself when you're in conversation with others. Because I was in a space where I was belittling myself. I was looking down at myself. And so regulating my nervous system helped me to see that, like, to be in charge of my choices and to realize that I don't have to fall victim to my emotions, to my thoughts, to my circumstances even. Like, I can decide how I feel within myself. I can decide what's true for me, and I can step forward in that knowing. Law of assumption is all about embodying. It's about being before you can physically see it. It's about being able to believe it before you can see it. Everything is working out for you, regardless of whether it's working out in this moment right now or not. It's about shifting your perception, seeing the cup half full. Recently, Kiki Palmer, she talked about how she's the queen of reframe. That's exactly what the whole manifestation community is about. You reframe how you perceive something within you, because that's what you're in control over. You're not in control of the circumstance or the situation at hand, but you are in charge of the way you perceive it and what happens internally. Taking care of your inner space really does help you to create a better reality, to create a better world for yourself, whatever you dominantly entertain within yourself. And I always say that the 13-year-old version of me manifested who I am today, because when I was younger, my mom, she bought me like window markers, and I would write just like a whole bunch of words on there on the window. But I was writing words that I desired to be that I didn't think I was. So I would write words like beautiful and just other words. But I remember writing the word beautiful because At that time, I didn't feel that way about myself. And it was like I was writing words that I desired to be. And then those words, I feel like I manifested the version that I am today. And I am not 100% where I desire to be or how I desire to be, but I am so, so much closer than I ever was. And I am very grateful for that. And that is why I so enjoy Law of Assumption. And I will talk about it till the last breath because it has transformed my life. Another thing that I learned throughout Law of Assumption and just the community that I was a part of is that so many people around the world have similar desires as me. I used to think I was alone for the things that I desired or for what I wanted, and I thought that something was wrong with me or it was weird or whatever the case may be. In entering into that community, I learned about so many other people that felt the same way that I did, that weren't in my close quarters. Like they were all around the world, all around the globe. And I was learning that it was a community that I felt seen in. In the manifestation community, it is said that we're always manifesting. You're either doing it consciously or unconsciously, but you're always manifesting. You're always creating your world. You're always creating your life. So let's get into a little bit of resources, okay? Because how I found out about Law of Assumption was Kim Velez, okay? She was the first person that taught me about Law of Assumption. She used to be a therapist, and then she turned into a life coach. And I was just scrolling on TikTok when I found her. It really fell into my lap. That's how I say it. It fell into my lap. After I found out about Kim Velez, I clicked on Law of Assumption hashtag on TikTok and I just scrolled through videos. And then I found who I absolutely adore, Flora Szivos. I really was attracted to her content because I love the quality of her content, but I felt like since she was closer to my age, and I felt like she was speaking in a way that was more palatable to me. And just with where I was at that time in my life, I was a beginner. I was just learning about manifestation. I was going through struggles. And at the time when she was teaching, she, like a year prior or a few months prior, she had just got out of like working for Uber Eats and doing all these things and like just having those struggles as well. She just like blew up. Now you can find her on Instagram. You can find her on TikTok. She has a podcast. It's so dope to watch somebody that you saw from the beginning to grow such a platform and to manifest their desires in such a way. She used to host lives on TikTok, and a whole bunch of people would come together in the live and talk about their manifestations and ask her questions. And she was just very just open and genuine and enthusiastic. You could tell she was excited about what she was talking about. That was the community that I was a part of, was her manifestation community. And she had a workshop, and so I purchased her workshop. It was about like $40. It wasn't that bad, like, but it was dope because she had it all laid out. It was maybe like 12 pages. We would journal. We would she had resources for us to meditate, to script, which is part of Law of Assumption. You script. You would just talk about the things that you're grateful for and talk about, and they maybe haven't even came into fruition yet, but you would talk about it and script about it, and it would just get you excited. It would shift the perspective, and that was so dope. She had resources to meditate. She had resources for like sleep tapes. So that leads me to my next person, Dylan James. Dylan James is very prominent in the manifestation community, especially Law of Assumption. He's a YouTuber, he's a content creator, and he's known for his mindset coaching. And someone else who I feel like if you're all about the logic, all about the science, the facts, the research, would be Joe Dispenza. Now, Joe Dispenza, he doesn't necessarily say or teach directly Law of Assumption. He teaches quantum physics. He's a quantum physicist. Albert Einstein tested that our reality is made up of 0.01% physical matter, and the rest is energy. So basically, we all are creating our realities through our energy, through the invisible, what isn't seen, through the inward work. So Joe Dispenza is also the author of Being Supernatural, You Are the Placebo, and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. All these books are super important in the Law of Assumption community because there is scientific evidence to back up not just the magic of manifestation, but there's actual scientific evidence to back up manifestation. Also, if you are religious, there are a lot of stories about manifestation in the Bible, or where manifestation is brought up in the Bible. It's not necessarily going to be law of assumption or law of attraction, but manifestation is taught in religious scriptures. For instance, as a man thinketh, so is he. You know, your inner world creating your outer reality. Some other resources that have helped me through learning about law of assumption was Manifesting Gaia. She is on YouTube and TikTok as well, and I love her energy behind her content and just how she really spoke about manifestation and law of assumption and self-concept. I truly love like watching her. There's so many people, especially now, teaching about law of assumption and manifestation. Those are simply like some of the people, the main people that I have been inspired by, that have helped me through learning about law of assumption in general and just self-concept work. The society we live in doesn't teach us that. So it's going against the grain. The start of shifting your self-concept is deprogramming. Like releasing yourself from all these thoughts and ideas that you were taught or that don't work for you, eliminating those and creating your own. How do you desire to live? How do you desire to be and to show up in your reality? Just being the best version of you, really. That's really what it's all about. And that was what attracted me to law of assumption. I was ready to change. I was ready to be a better me, and I was hitting a wall doing it myself, or I was hitting a wall doing it with therapy. Law of assumption was that extra oomph that I needed, because I needed to regulate my nervous system. And I just want to leave the video with this. Life is full of possibilities. Life is full of beautiful happenings and possibilities. We see it every day. We see it all the time. You're already complete as you are. We are here to enjoy life, to fully live. And learning about law of assumption has helped me to live. So don't forget to always take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for joining me.